Eagle TV presents
Year 2020 in Retrospect. Today we look back at some highlights in the year 2020. The good, the ugly, and the outright bad. Knowing that no matter how much we try, it is presently near impossible to determine the exact outcome of our future. Both as individuals and as humans, we must continue to draw inspiration and lessons from the many intriguing stories that our uncertain existence offers. Bad news, they say, travels fast, so we must give good news a head start.
The good. The 2020 United States of America presidential election. The 59th quadrennial presidential election of the United States was held on Tuesday, November 3rd, 2020. Boasting of the highest voter turnout since 1900, the 2020 election witnessed a lot of firsts. It also saw the most votes ever cast for a candidate in a U.S. election, as President-elect under the Democrat ticket, Joe Biden, received more than 81 million votes. Incumbent President Donald Trump, bearing the Republican ticket, became the 11th U.S. president and the first since George H.W. Bush in 1992 to lose a bid for a second term. The first elected female vice president of the United States, Kamala Harris, will assume office on the 20th of January as the highest-ranking female elected official, the first African-American and the first Asian-American vice president in the country's history.
United Kingdom Brexit deal. Dusk or dawn? Pitfall or mountaintop? Where is Britain and the Brexit deal headed in its relationship with the rest of Europe? Secured on 1:44 p.m. GMT on Christmas Eve, after 9 months of twisted debates, the deal was met with relief on the one hand and mixed feelings on the other. Better than a no-deal exit, many analysts, including UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson, considers the Brexit deal as an opportunity for a more prosperous relationship between Britain, Europe, and the rest of the world 48 years after Britain joined the then European Economic Community. UEFA Champions League, the most prestigious football club competition in Europe and one of the most prominent worldwide. The UEFA Champions League, organized by the Union of European Football Associations, was a highlight in the year 2020. Founded in 1955 in Europe, the competition brings together about 79 clubs from across Europe vying to qualify for the UEFA Super Cup, with the German club Bayern Munich as a reigning champions, having beaten French club Paris Saint-Germain 1-0 on the 23rd of August 2020 to clinch the title for the 6th time. The league, nevertheless, recognizes Real Madrid as the most successful club with 30 wins to its credit. Although the final match for 2020 was played behind closed doors due to the COVID-19 pandemic in Europe, the league can be seen as a testament of the resilient and enduring human spirit and its unyielding will to triumph against all odds.
Parasite. Parasite wins 4 awards at the Oscars and rewrites 90-year history.
Bong Joon-ho!
This was the catchy headline of a story published by a South Korean news agency. The headline bears no detectable untruth, as Parasite, in addition to its numerous accolades, clinched 4 top awards of Best Picture, Best Director, Best Original Screenplay, and Best International Feature Film at the 92nd Academy Awards. Described as the rarest of creative accomplishments, the film has grossed $275 million worldwide, including $53.3 million in the United States and Canada. With 197 wins and 330 nominations worldwide, the film creatively showcasing how greed and class discrimination threatens a freshly formed synergetic relationship between two families is the 19th highest grossing domestic film in South Korean history. With Parasite, there is much to talk about. However, aside sparking off a myriad of meanings, the title Parasite suggests a deep contemplation of our individual and collective place in the world, and what actions or inactions maintain such a place. NFL 2020. It is no small feat that despite the rampaging COVID-19 pandemic, the 101st season of the National Football League was marked in this year 2020. On September 10th, the regular season began with the NFL kickoff game, which saw the defeat of Houston by defending Super Bowl 54 champion Kansas City. Unarguably the richest professional sport league by revenue, the sport league boasting of the highest valuable teams, the utmost professional level of American football worldwide, the NFL was founded in September 17, 1920, 100 years ago. With its headquarters in New York City, the league comprises of 32 teams shared equally between the National Football Conference and the American Football Conference. Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida, will conclude the season with Super Bowl 55, the league's championship game on February 17, 2021. The bad. The year 2020 is marked as a year where many people across the world experience more than a truckload of undesirable things. No one really knows why bad things occur, yet we may agree that valuable lessons are often wrapped in unfortunate happenings. Coronavirus disease. The World Health Organization, in March 2020, declared the coronavirus 2019, otherwise known as COVID-19, to be caused by severe acute respiratory syndrome, otherwise known as coronavirus 2 or SARS-CoV-2, a public health emergency of international concern. First identified in Wuhan, the capital city of Hubei province in central China, in December 2019, a groundbreaking number of 79.9 million cases have so far been confirmed, with a recorded 1.74 million deaths attributed to COVID-19. A sad year it is indeed, as dreams, livelihoods, and lives were lost to the pandemic which triggered the largest global recession since the Great Depression. From none to chronic illness, symptoms of COVID-19 are extremely inconsistent. By leaving an infected person through breathing, sneezing, coughing, or speaking, the virus spreads through the air to another person via their mouth, nose, or eyes. Contaminated surfaces also aid the spread of the virus. Social distancing, wearing face masks in public, hand washing, and disinfecting surfaces are among preventative measures people are advised to follow as the world awaits a reliable vaccine. George Floyd. I can't breathe. The desperate last words of a dying man. Words which grew in momentum to become a forceful revolutionary chant spreading from city to city across the United States of America, Europe, and the world. Handcuffed and pinned to the ground with a knee on his neck, George Floyd, a 46-year-old African-American man, dies in full public view at the hands of Derek Chauvin, a white police officer. This tragic incident occurred in Minneapolis on the 25th of May, 2020. Protests and unrest spread across the United States as tens of thousands of people swarmed the streets to express their outrage. In some states where the demonstrations turned violent, the National Guard was even activated to ensure order. All four men involved in the arrest and extrajudicial killing of George Floyd have since been fired, and an FBI investigation into the video capturing the incident commenced. Such brazen lawlessness and use of extreme force by the U.S. police, especially towards black people, have been the cause of many protests throughout American history. But spreading across 140 cities in the U.S. with the condemnation and demonstrations pouring in from several countries, the George Floyd protest with the hashtag I Can't Breathe is without a doubt the biggest of them all.
Take your knee off our necks! Take your knee off our necks! Justice!
2019 to 2020 Hong Kong protests. A series of dissent actions was set off with a sit-in at the Hong Kong government headquarters on the 15th of March 2019. The protests, also referred to as the Anti-Extradition Law Amendment Bill movement, opposed the Fugitive Offenders Amendment Bill by the Hong Kong government. The bill, now removed, sought to permit extraditions to jurisdictions with which Hong Kong did not have extradition agreements with, such as mainland China and Taiwan. Many feared that should the bill be allowed into law, Hong Kong visitors and residents alike would be exposed to the legal system of mainland China, thereby trespassing civil liberties and undermining Hong Kong's autonomy. The protest degenerated into violence and attracted global attention, as hundreds of thousands assembled outside the Legislative Council complex to halt the second reading of the bill on the 12th of June, 2019. Global lockdown. Governments across the continents of the world adopted the lockdown strategy to reduce human interaction, slow down the spread of COVID-19, and provide healthcare services to those infected, as well as continuing to facilitate other healthcare facilities, all in a bid to protect human life from the COVID-19 infection. Some studies claim that the lockdown brought about an unintended upside, improvement to the air quality worldwide, and consequently, improvement in general health. The downsides, however, stare the world full in the face. High number of deaths, job cuts, increased trauma, spiking crime rate, clinical depression, and economic loss, to name a few. Beirut explosion. Preceded by a fire in a warehouse at the port of Beirut, the capital city of Lebanon, an explosion which caused a minimum of 204 deaths, 6,000 injuries, loss of $15 billion of property damage, and left an estimated 300,000 people homeless, occurred on the 4th of August 2020. Although investigations are still ongoing, a cargo of 2,750 tons of ammonium nitrate, equivalent to 1.1 kilotons of TNT, confiscated by Lebanese authorities from the MV Rosa's ship and stored in a warehouse, was reported to be the remote cause of the explosion. Following the blast, which was heard in Cyprus, felt in Israel, Syria, and Turkey, and considered one of the most powerful artificial non-nuclear explosions in history, the Lebanese government declared a 2-week state of emergency and the 5th of August as a day of national mourning, even as demonstrations erupted across Lebanon against the government for what many termed their failure to avert a catastrophe. End SARS. End SARS is a series of mass protest movements started in Nigeria against police brutality and bad governance. The protest is targeted especially at the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, or SARS, a unit of the Nigerian police force notorious for its extrajudicial killings, excessive use of force, armed robbery, and gross abuse of human rights. Using the hashtag EndSARS,
The protest, which started as a Twitter campaign in 2017, has witnessed mass demonstrations throughout the major cities of Nigeria and a few across America, Europe, and other cities of the world. On Twitter, over 28 million tweets bearing the hashtag have been accumulated. Unfortunately, the circumstances under which the sit-in by protesters at the Lekki toll gate in Lagos State has disbanded are still under international dispute, as reports of wanton murder of protesters by the Nigerian military has flooded many social media sites.
The ugly.
Kobe Bryant. One of the greatest players of all time, Kobe Bryant spent the whole of his 20-year career with the Los Angeles Lakers in the National Basketball Association.
Wade is guarding Bryant. Artest looking, gets it to Bryant. Bryant dribbling, has to put it up at the buzzer. Banks it in! Oh! He banks in the three! And the Lakers win the game!
Bryant was a 2008 NBA Most Valuable Player, a 12-time member of the All-Defensive Team, a 15-time member of the All-NBA Team, and an 18-time All-Star with 5 NBA championships to his credit. Amongst a host of other enviable accolades, Bryant ranks 4th on the league's all-time regular season scoring and all-time postseason scoring list. Aged 41, he died alongside Gianna, his 13-year-old daughter, 6 family friends, and the pilot in a helicopter crash on January 26, 2020. Energetic like her dad, Gianna had a passion for basketball and was looking to follow in the footsteps of her legendary father. She wanted to attend the University of Connecticut and join the women's basketball team. With the helicopter crash that ugly Sunday, her dream was short-lived. Kobe's legacy as one of the greatest players in the history of the NBA remains inspiring to people in and outside the world of sport. In honor of Bryant, Commissioner Adam Silver announced the NBA All-Star Game MVP award would be renamed to the NBA All-Star Game Kobe Bryant MVP Award in his honor.
Sean Connery. On the 31st of October 2020, Sean Connery, the original James Bond as many called him, died. There are not many actors like Sean Connery. There are not many men who grace the stage of life with as much confidence, ease, and passion. Beyond starring in 7 Bond films between 1962 and 1983, his unforgettable roles in The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen as Alan Quatermain, The Hunt for Red October, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, The Untouchables, Entrapment, and Finding Forrester, Sean Connery captures hearts and minds wherever any of his 70 screen appearances are viewed. Born 25th of August 1930, named Thomas after his grandfather, Connery's first employment was as a milkman. He moved on to football and then sought employment as a backstage assistant at the King's Theatre. From then on, his life reels like a movie.
Diego Maradona. El Pibe de Oro, the Golden Boy. This was the nickname given to Diego Armando Maradona, one of the 2 joint winners of the FIFA Player of the 20th Century Award. Generally regarded as one of the greatest players in the entire history of football, Diego Maradona was born on 13th of October 1960. He was an Argentine professional football player and manager. His ability to maneuver better than most other players is not unconnected to his small physique, which gave him a low center of gravity, combined with his expert passes, ball control, keen vision, and dribbling power. Maradona was a force on the field. A free kick maestro with an eye for goal, Maradona's presence and leadership on the field was usually a great boost to his team's morale. Added to his many wins, awards, and record-breaking transfer fee, Maradona, wearing his easily recognizable number 10 jersey, scored both goals in a 2-1 victory over England during the 1986 World Cup quarterfinal. The victory, for two reasons, entered football history. The first goal, a handling foul known today as the Hand of God, went without penalty, while the second goal was a 60-meter, or 66-yard, dribble past 5 England players and voted Goal of the Century in 2002 by FIFA.com voting. However, the path of the Golden Boy wasn't entirely shiny. He was banned in 1991 and 1994 for abusing drugs, and he died on the 25th November 2020 after undergoing a brain surgery in a hospital where he was admitted for supposedly psychological reasons. Chadwick Bossman. Born and raised in Anderson, South Carolina, Chadwick Aaron Bossman achieved international fame for his Black Panther superhero role in the Marvel Cinematic Universe from 2016 to 2019. Black Panther, a Marvel Cinematic film where Bossman played T'Challa, grossed over $1.3 billion worldwide and broke numerous box office records, including the highest-grossing film by a black director and the 9th highest-grossing film of all time. Chadwick Bossman was named to the 2018 Time 100 for being the first black actor to headline an MCU film. His appearance in 4 MCU films, including an eponymous 2018 film, won him an NAACP Image Award for Outstanding Actor in a Motion Picture, and a Screen Actors Guild Award for Outstanding Performance by a Cast in a Motion Picture. An actor and playwright, Chadwick Bossman died of colon cancer on August 28, 2020. Jerry John Rawlings. Following a coup d'etat in 1979, Jerry Rawlings, a flight lieutenant of the Ghanaian Air Force, came to power, until 1992 when he resigned from the military and founded the National Democratic Congress to become the first president of the Fourth Republic, where he served 2 terms as the democratically elected president of Ghana. He led a military junta. Born the 22nd of June 1947, Jerry Rawlings grew up fueled by a desire to better the fortunes of his Ghanaian people.
I was representing the conscience of the armed forces, the conscience of the nation.
For his undeterred nationalistic drive, he was, in July of 1984, honored with the Order of José Martí by the Cuban leader Fidel Castro. Jerry Rawlings was named Eminent Person of the First International Year of Volunteers in 2000 by Kofi Annan, the UN Secretary General. Upon his death on the 12th of October 2020, which many reported to be caused by COVID-19, a 7-day period of mourning with flags flown at half-mast to honor Jerry Rawlings was declared by President Nana Akufo-Addo. Alex Trebek. Loved and admired, Trebek owned a 700-acre ranch. Trebek ran the Olympic torch in Jacksonville, Florida, through a leg of its journey to Atlanta. Trebek was awarded 7 Outstanding Game Show Host Emmy Awards, a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, a star on Canada's Walk of Fame, the Royal Canadian Geographical Society's Gold Medal, amongst many others. The Wizard of Odds, Double Dare, High Rollers, Battlestar, Classic Concentration, and To Tell the Truth are a number of game shows he's hosted. Alex Trebek was one of the greatest showmen. Like other television show personalities, it seems increasingly tricky to find the exact point where a line can be drawn between personal life and appearances on the public stage.
Our 3 contestants, Ken, Brad, and Jerome, wanted to relieve some of the tension, and they said we must do the program without trousers.
Son of a chef and a bellhop at 13, Alex Trebek was born in Canada on July 22, 1940. He grew to become a naturalized U.S. citizen and one of the greatest show hosts and television personalities in history. For 37 seasons, he was the host of the syndicated game show Jeopardy! Until 2022, his contract to host Jeopardy! Was not to end. Appearing in movies and shows almost too numerous to mention, Alex Trebek suffered a mild heart attack in June 2012 and died on November 8, 2020, after a nearly 2-year battle with pancreatic cancer. Shehu Idris Emir of Zaria. With an unbroken reign of 45 years, spanning 1975 to 2020, Shehu Idris was the longest reigning monarch in the history of the Zazzau Emirate. A member of the Fula people, chairman of Zazzau Emirate Council and the Kaduna State Council of Chiefs, Shehu Idris was a Nigerian teacher who ascended the throne on 8th of February 1975 as the 18th Emir of Zazzau, only after celebrating the 45th anniversary of his coronation on the 8th of February 2020. Shehu Idris passed on at the 44 Nigerian Army Reference Hospital in Kaduna on the 20th September 2020. Farewell. In war, people die, yet people must fight wars. African proverb. We must take action. We must be hopeful. And even if we fail today, tomorrow we must rise up and try again. Like good things, bad things happen in life. Nobody knows why, and it is never totally in the power of anyone to decide when or how good or bad things happen. But through the journey of life, we need people to share in our moments, however good or bad it may be. And in the process, our alliances with these people could turn ugly, much like in the film The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, listed in Time's 100 Greatest Movies of the Last Century. Don't forget to remember to try again and keep going. Ciao.
Please like, share and subscribe and click the notification button for updates.